Good morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's live craft and chat where we craft and chat live. Is it the third Thursday of the month? I don't even know. Is it? I don't know. If it is, we've got IKEA, but I think we had IKEA last week. Did we have IKEA last week? I think we did. For those of you that join us on our Saturday adventure, which is the once a month, that will be held at Cafe 63 at Beanley this week. Now, if you are intending on coming along, please send me a message because I do need to double check numbers for that particular booking. We don't have unlimited space like in some places that we go to. So I need to make sure that I do have a chair for you. The venue can take more people for sure, but I do need to make sure that we've got that. So Cafe 63 at Beanley Marketplace on Saturday, starting from 11. Good morning to everyone. Lots of people in the chat nice and early. Ruth Young, first cab off the rank. She was early. And then we had Teresa jump in. Oh no, Bianca was next, I think. And then Teresa. Good morning to everybody. Kelly's jumped in as well, sneaking in from work. Leanne is here as well. So good to see everybody. Knitspin Girls Creations. So this week I have been working on the Project sweater. Now, I got to a certain point with it, wasn't happy and pulled it back and restarted it. So basically, I've gotten up to about the point where, just before the point where I'm at now, on Sunday afternoon, and went, yeah, no, I'm not feeling it. So I actually pulled it back. And part of the problem was how loose the stitches were, especially in that ribbed collar. So I sat down and, funnily enough, did some maths way faster off camera than I did last week, and worked out how to make the rib band more like the knitted stitches look better. I wouldn't say they're perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they definitely look better, and still got the same length, but then needed to do some maths to reduce the stitches down because I increased the stitches out. I dropped down to a 3.5 mil instead of the 4 mil tips. Did some extra stitches, redid the neck band, and then dropped it back down, and then increased the needle size back up for the rest of the stitches. I'm very happy with how that side of it worked. Yes, I am. And the other thing that I'd been doing was I actually started doing the 3-color helix knitting from that point. So I did the neckband in the blue and then the helix knitting from then on. But I realized I was losing track of the increases where the color changes were, and I just really wasn't happy with it. So I did the thing I really didn't want to do, which was I pulled out all the helix knitting, and I'm not going to start that until after we separate for the sleeves. So, or at least after the last of the increases, because it was too awkward. And they weren't lining up, and it was doing my head in, you know the drill. So I pulled it all out and restarted. So I'm currently up to like here with it. So this is a really soft, pretty blue. That's the back, and this is the front. So before I started the helix knitting, like right here, and was doing all of this in the helix knitting, I absolutely love how the colors are working together in the knitted stitches. I absolutely love how it feels. I will totally be putting it back in, but just waiting till after I get past these increases, because it was just, I couldn't keep them like looking good, if that makes any sense. So I just thought, you know what, if I can't, I can't. And the other thing I'll say is, does anybody else hate how lifted increases look? Like, because I'm sort of looking at this and I'm like, I'm so used to nearly invisible increases. I'm like, why aren't these just yarn overs? Like, seriously, these might as well just be yarn overs. It's so gapey for these lifted increases. Anyway, I'm doing what the pattern says, at least this time round. Next time round, I might do something different, because I tend to follow the pattern the first time, other than maths to make it fit, and then go from there. Now, I do just want to just double check one thing, because I did send a message out to somebody asking for some information. I've not received it yet. So yeah, so the other thing so I'm working on this, like today's title is we're making all the things. How many projects is too many projects? And you know, like you guys know how like towards the end of the year, I'm like, oh my God, they, you know, there's so many, I've got so many unfinished things and blah, 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 blah. And I'm feeling overwhelmed. And so I just sit down and just finish everything as much as I can. Well, I'm actually planning on starting another project. So I've got this one going. But something that I've been watching and keeping an eye on. Did any of you see Crochet with Claire's crochet skirt that she put out? Now, I've never crocheted a skirt before. So last year I had never crocheted pants before. Now I've knitted pants. I've never crocheted pants either, actually, but I'd never knitted pants. Now I've knitted some pants. I've never crocheted a skirt before. So I'm thinking I really like the look of Crochet with Claire's skirt that she made. Now, I did go and grab the Ravelry thing. So let me just go and find my screen share. There it is there. Screen share. This one. This is the one I'm talking about. So let me just grab the link to throw it into the chat. Copy link. Throw it in the chat. Can I throw it in the chat? There it is. So this is the pattern that I'm looking at right now. Now, Crochet with Claire, like the information I'm waiting on is like, I have no idea how much yarn she used for her project, and I don't actually know what size she is. So to get an idea of how much yarn I'm going to need for a version of it. Now, I would be making mine a bit longer. I'm not very comfortable in short skirts. I'd be making mine at least knee length, possibly longer. And I will absolutely be wearing leggings under it because it's a crochet skirt. So I just thought it's just so cute. And I thought it could look really nice at retreat. Like, you know, even with just like a t-shirt or something. Anyway, so yeah, Bianca says, I reckon that'd look great with leggings. I think so too. I think for me, I need the leggings under it to feel comfortable in it. I know not everybody is the same. But for me, I definitely need the leggings under it to feel comfortable. So, yeah, there is a bit of that going on. But anyway, so I've been tossing up what to do about that. Like, which yarns do I go with? Like, so basically, you really can just go with whatever yarn you want, right? According to Claire. So she's put instructions in for both. She's put instructions in for both worsted weight and DK weight. I've got a lot of DK floating around because this Australia, we don't have a lot of worsted weight. But I've got this particular colorway. It crochets up like that. And I was just thinking, would that work? Or should I go for something a little bit more, you know, like, hang on, subtle, a bit more subtle. And I've got more of this yarn that I used to do this beanie. I like both of them, but I don't know which one. Like, you know, the skirt's supposed to be fun. Do I make it in like a fun color? And I do have 3 balls of the really bright rainbow left, but I don't know if that'd be enough, honestly. So they're what are they? They're 150 gram balls. Yeah, 150 gram balls. So that's 450 grams. I don't think that'd be enough, honestly, for a skirt for me. So that's why I'm going with this one, because I've got like 10 balls of this one. So I've got plenty. And I have like 7 of this one. So again, plenty and lots. Go over there, Beanie. Oh, falling down. Oh, actually, we have our special guest today, Louie on the Louie cam. Yeah, I think fun colours for a skirt. I think so too. What do you guys think? I may need 2 skirts. I may well need 2 skirts. Who knows? Now, I was thinking of making mine a little more, like, I'm thinking a little flowier. Like Claire did say that she has, like in that video, she hadn't washed it yet. She was anticipating that the yarn would become, you know, more drapey after that. So I'm thinking I would like a little bit more flowiness. So I'm thinking like an extra panel. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. I got to sit down and do some maths. But my biggest problem is color. What do I want to start with? So I keep leaning to this one, honestly. And it'll be over, like I've got black leggings, so it'll be over black leggings. So it'll really stand out color wise. So it doesn't have to deal with my pale skin, which is great. So I can, it smells like my husband's burning a hot cross bun. Either that or my kitchen's on fire. So I'm not quite sure which way. He's just gone, it's fine, it's fine. You like the more colourful one? I think so too. Beverages today, we have tea, we have water. I'm already highly caffeinated. I don't need more caffeine. So yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to make the skirt. Now, Bianca did say here, so we all need to make one to wear retreat, eh? No, you don't have to. Just like the pants, no one had to make the pants. Quite a few of us made the Knititude sweatpants, which was so much fun. And I'm so glad I did it because it's something I wouldn't have done without the encouragement of everybody else. Because knitted pants doesn't really, it's not something that really inspired me before, but because everyone was making them, I was like, oh, okay. Now I cannot wait for it to get cold again so I can wear them. They are like wearing a blanket. This winter, I'm going to be decked out because I've also got my Jethro sweater that I've been hanging out to wear since I finished it. It is way too hot even for today. I don't know what the temperature is today. Can we see the temperature anywhere? 24 degrees. It looks like it's 24. Oh, hang on. My watch also tells me 22 degrees. So my clock does the internal temperature, which we've got 24 degrees inside. Outside is 22 degrees. It's a beautiful, cool, overcast, showery day, which I'm here for. I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, so I'm going to try and make the skirt, honestly, but nobody else has to. And you know, it's just, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. So yeah, so let me know in the chat. Have you ever knitted or crocheted a skirt? Just write yes or no. That'd be great. I'd love to know if any, because lots of people have done tops and sweaters and stuff like that. But it seems that the bottom half tends to be more not knitted or crocheted. So let me know in the chat. I would love to see that. Let's have a look here. Holly's not done any bottoms. What's held you off? Oh, Bianca's done 4. Oh, there we go. Knitspin Girls knitted a skirt before. So, well, that's cool. For my granddaughter you have. I think I've machine knitted skirts for Abby when she was a toddler, but nothing since she got, adult sized. I like getting Abby anything is hard. Like I think I've made her a beanie and some gloves. Kelly says, I've never made a skirt. I've got a few saved now, though. And Ruth says, I'm trying to watch this with my new laptop. I hope you're succeeding, Ruth. I hope you're succeeding. I hope your new laptop is playing nicely. Sometimes new technology just doesn't play nice. So look, I'm gonna keep knitting on my sweater. So I'm gonna drop down to the hands down. I forgot to check if this color blows out the camera. Oh, it's delayed again. Hang on a second. Let me do the switcheroo. Switcheroo. There we go. Not delayed now. Excellent. All right. So yeah, it's just one of these things, right? Like technology is either our friend or not. I haven't really seen a pattern that I've fallen in love with, said Holly. Holly, have you checked out the Crochet with Claire skirt? I think the thing that I love about the Crochet with Claire skirt, for a start, it is crocheted, right? So if I don't absolutely love it, I don't feel like it's going to be like a months of work before that I have to frog out if I don't love it, because I do crochet much faster than I knit. I think, and I also think that once I get the sort of the measury do's in for the start done, um, it will be a lot, it'll be like a really comfortable, easy project just to sit down and work on. So yeah, I'm seeing positives. I'm seeing all these positives. Now, the negative is I don't know how much yarn it's going to need. I mean, and that's true for a lot of projects, right? That's true for a lot of projects. And the other thing is, I don't want to do it as a scrappy thing. I would like to do it as like, you know, the same color yarn, like ball or block colors even. So I mean, I've got the I've actually got a ton of the yarn left over from the the Jethro sweater that I could actually make the crochet skirt that matches the Jethro sweater. That I just want to point out, I would never wear them together other than as like a ingest or as a costume or something. I could not bring myself to put the two pieces together, which is odd, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm going to make these two things that match in color and design. However, Holly says the skirt is cute, but I have so many projects that I really need to finish. I can't think about added to the pile. I feel you. I 100% get that, because that's my thing, right? I've got so many projects on the go as well. Should I have started this top? Probably not. Like in all reality, I probably didn't need to start this top at all. Except for the fact that it was just the perfect top for the yarn, and I just frogged out the other top because it was just not working. And so, yeah. Knitspin Girl says, I know it's sucking how much yarn I'll need. I suck at knowing how much yarn I'll need. How much for a hat? 100 to 150? I'll buy a kilo just to be sure. Oh, that's hilarious. That is actually hilarious. I tend to do the opposite. I'm just going to buy this pretty 100 grams. This is gorgeous. Just this 100 gram skein. That'll be fine. Or, you know, maybe two of them. Except any project I want needs at least 5, obviously, and then I don't have them and have to find colors that match it. And then because it's some custom hand dyed amazing thing, I can never find anything that matches it just so. And then the yarn just sits in the stash forever and ever and ever. Amen. So, you know, I get it. But I do have some like leftovers of these cryptos from Christmas blankets and things like that. So I've got to sort of sit down and work on those. You know, because they're actually, they don't fit in my stash area. They're taking up some storage area for some of my other craft stuff, which is now currently out sitting on a table. So the yarn's put away so that the pets couldn't wreck the yarn. So I would like to get that part of the stash dwindled down so I can put some other things back away. But yeah, just it's tricky. It's tricky. Do I start it? Do I not start it? Will it be fun? Do I have any other projects on the go at the moment? Yes, I do. I have this blanket that I started over here where I've done 2 squares of it and just it's gone the wayside. But it's a blanket that I want for me. It's not for anybody else. So of course it goes by the wayside. Oh, nicely done. No, that is not intentional, Russell. That is not intentional. That picture-in-picture thing, that's been that colour for many, many years, and this just happens to be a ball of yarn. So, and Louis' blanket down there was made by Kelly. That's a gift from Kelly. So he is a happy, happy boy. He's so sleepy today. He's like I think he's just loving the cool weather, and he's just all. I wonder if we put him in one of his shirts, if he'd be as sleepy, or if he'd be warmer and we'd want to run around a bit more. Not that it's actually that cold, like really. It's just cool compared to what we've been getting, right? So it's currently like 22 degrees Celsius, which I'm in shorts and t-shirt. I'm loving it. This is my perfect temperature. I'm super happy. No humidity or very little humidity. And cool breeze, and just, I mean, admittedly, we are also having showers, which I could go without the showers, let's be honest. But you know, Can't have everything, can we? Um, did you see where Mikey from the crochet crowd called you an amateur if you have to finish a project before you start another and didn't have a zillion on the go? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But I also, I don't want to say anyone's an amateur for doing that. I know of people that buy the yarn for a project, make that project, get rid of any of the leftover yarn, and then go out and get the yarn for the next project. And that's it. They don't have a stash. They work on one single project. Personally, I can't envision that. But every person, every creative person is different in how they need to manage and maintain their projects and their stashes or not stashes, as the case may be. I'm not gonna, yuck someone's yum. That's just, I'm not gonna, unless of course their yum is like Pepsi or, something like that. Or, or diet Pepsi or, diet Coke or whatever. All those yucky drinks. I'll yuck those. But yeah, I personally love having a stash because it means that if I'm inspired by something, I can just start it. I don't have to wait. I don't have to go hunting for yarn. And especially here, the only local yarn store I've really got for anything other than bulky yarns is Spotlight. And let's be honest, that's an absolute, it's a joke. It used to be a serious yarn store. It is now no longer a serious yarn store. It is now a homeware store that happens to stock a couple of aisles of yarn a few months of the year. I cannot rely on Spotlight for yarn purchases. Let me know in the chat, if you're in Australia, do you only shop at Spotlight or do you have to shop elsewhere? How did you get the blue end on your watch band to match the yarn? No, this is just, I only have one watch band. It just happens to be that it's a blue theme today. That's all. It's just serendipitous. You think he was trying to feel better about himself? Possibly. Look, and I'm with him. I've always got a pile of projects on the go. I very rarely have nothing. But yeah, I tend to, but I just wouldn't call someone an amateur over it. Do you know what I mean? Because just different people. And he was probably joking. It was probably joking. Knitspin Girl says, no stash, but what if you decide you want to make something at night? I want to start now, not wait till the shop's open or the mail to arrive. Yeah, see, I'm with you. My daughter says my yarn stash is massive, lol. Look, my husband says my yarn stash is massive, but he obviously hasn't seen anyone else's yarn stashes. So, it's just because it takes up, a room. Well, it doesn't take up a room, actually. It takes up a set of shelves over there. And some crates in our bedroom. And a crate in the lounge room. That's about it. Some crates on the back patio. Holly says, this year I decided to refer to my yarn stash as my yarn inventory, and I like the way it sounds. I love that. I think that's awesome. Kelly says that she only goes to Spotlight as a last resort. Leanne says, I've been to Spotlight, though not for yarn. Vampire says, I mostly shop at Spotlight, but occasionally go elsewhere. Knitspin Girl says, I don't buy yarn at Spotlight anymore. Are you digging your way to China there, Lou? Florida says that his wife's quilt fabric stash required a walk-in closet. Nice. Bianca says, I buy yarn at Spotlight sometimes when it's on special and something I like. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's got to be that holy grail. I know a lot of people love those Spotlight mill ends baskets because they're really affordable. I bought the variegated yarn for a blanket I made for Tim from the mill ends basket, and then went and grabbed complimentary spot saver. I want to say spot saver. I don't know what it was. It was the Aran weight whatever. Spot saver kind of yarn, just acrylic. And I was able to make a very long single bed style blanket for $30 odd, which is so affordable. when usually you're looking at the 100 to 150 for that similar size blanket, even in acrylic. And so I tend to buy a lot. I buy a lot of my cotton from Bendigo Woolen Mills. I buy a lot of my acrylic from uh, like Oz Yarn Co. Like so Peyton's acrylic and things like that. So I get that direct. And then I also get a lot of like natural fibers from Hobie, which I just love. I love the nice big range of natural fiber blends from Hobie, like a lot of the cotton and silks and the bamboo and cotton, and I love all of that, like a lot. And I think for me, finding the blends that I want is the tricky part. Like Spotlight doesn't really do much in the way of natural fibers, um, other than a bit of wool, and their wool is not awesome. So yeah, they were acrylic. They used to have a decent acrylic line. Now they no longer do. I think. Oh, speaking of decent acrylic lines, did you all hear that the big twist yarn that was made exclusively for the Joanne stores, which have now closed down or are closing down? They've either already closed or they're about to. That has been the rights that have been sold onto Hirschner's. So wherever you can purchase your Hirschner's yarns, you'll be able to buy Big Twist. So that's really good news that a yarn that a lot of people love is not going to disappear. It's going to change hands. So hopefully they keep it the way it is. You know what it's like. Some companies buy out a yarn line and then decide to change how it's produced. I'm looking at you, Oz Yarn Co. buying the Australian Wool Company, and changing blends. Yeah, Knitspin Girl says the million bags are good for charity knits. Yeah. Leanne says some of their cotton is pretty good. I don't like their budget acrylic anymore. Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I will sometimes buy a ball or two of something to see if, or even just go in and pat the yarn and then go online and order it. Because even some of the smaller yarn stores, like the local yarn stores, they will give you a better price than Spotlight, which is hilarious considering Spotlight has like bargaining power. But they do not pass that saving on to the customer just about ever at all. So you're better off like finding the yarn that you want and then going hunting for a small online retailer or someone like that, some person who just, you know, is doing it themselves or has a small local yarn store, even like the Yarn Bowl, something like that, and just ordering it online. Sounds awful. Sounds awful. And then they'll be like, oh, Spotlight's disappearing and everyone's sad. And you're just like, but are they really? No. No, because as far as I'm concerned, Spotlight disappeared about, I want to say about 7 or 8 years ago when they changed how they did all their stores and it became all homewares rather than all craft. Holly says they're not all closed yet. I'm glad that the yarn got picked up by someone. They're not there. Oh, they're not there. Okay, I understand. So I'm thinking they're not there. Because I read the different theirs in my brain. I know what you did there. Vampire says I plan my yarn purchases around what Spotlight has in their VIP sales. Awesome. That's a fantastic way to do it. If you are going to be a Spotlight person, you absolutely need to join their VIP plan, which is 100% free to do. And you get so many savings. And if you're a sewer, do you still get the free paper pattern on your birthday? I think if you go in on your birthday, you can get a free paper pattern. Like, you know, you just get to choose one of the sewing patterns. I know I used to do that. I've just recently had to throw out all my paper patterns. The box that they were in got water damage. I didn't realize they were in a cardboard box until it was too late. Yeah, double check it. It may not be the case anymore, but you used to be able to. You used to be able to. It was a big thing that I used to do. I used to have like this list of stores I'd hit on my birthday, and it was on there, and I'd go through and choose a pattern either for myself or for Abby. I'm gonna have to do a measure redo soon. Where's the end of the row? There it is over there. I'm about halfway. So yeah, because I've got another set of another set of increases I've got to do before I split for the sleeves. So I need to measure to make sure I'm not making it too long in between the increases. Although there seems to be like, there's a short one there, then a longer one there. I'm hoping this one matches that one. I could probably just look at the pattern and see if that's the case. Oh, Leanne's out there with the buy me a coffees. Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate that. If you do want to shout me a coffee, you absolutely can by clicking on this link. I get a much better cut than if you super chat. But you can super chat it too, or instead of, or whatever you want to do, because coffee is amazing. I love coffee. She says while drinking a cup of tea. Now, which one of you told me to try out the Narada tea for like the stronger tea? Because I've been drinking the Narada now for a few weeks, and I am loving it. I switched over to Twinings many years ago when it was good. Let me just put that in there. And then it just got weaker and weaker and weaker to the point where I needed 2 tea bags in a cup this size. This is what is it? I want to say it's a 10-ounce cup. I can't quite read it. I certainly don't want to tip it upside down. Yeah, it's not a very big. It's not a very big. It's not a very big cup, and I would need 2 tea bags so that I could actually taste the tea. Yeah, no, up here in Brisbane, we used to be able to get a free paper pattern on your birthday. Maybe it was a store thing. I don't know. Oh, here comes the rain. I'll just keep an eye. I've got a window open here so I can get some of this lovely cool breeze through, but I have to keep an eye on it because it might also let rain in, Yeah, I get a discount voucher now, so maybe that's what it was. They got rid of the thing, the free paper patterns, and just gave people like a voucher in store when it became less of a craft store and more of a homeware store. Because over half of my local store is homewares rather than any kind of craft. So like curtains and sheets and towels and pillows and throws and cushions and potpourri bowls that are stenchy, and even some like electrical stuff like toasters and kettles, and it's a bit weird. I can't, like, has anyone ever bought a toaster or a kettle from Spotlight? I haven't. It's just not where I think of like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and buy that from this craft store. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But choosing which projects to work on and not frog and complete and just keep going, I think sometimes it comes down to like, what do I feel like working on? Like, it seems like such a lame reason, right? Like, oh no, I must be more professional about this and I must do this, but I don't sell my makes, right? So when it comes to things that I'm making, they're not my job. That's not my job. This is just something I do because I love it. So why not work with a yarn that I'm feeling extra love for this week, you know. So sometimes it'll mean putting down a project. Like I love my cardigan that I'm making, my out of the purple whisper, and I sort of walk past it every couple of days thinking I really should work on that. And then I'll pick something else up instead. I'm like, no, I just want to work on this. Like, you know, I made that beanie for Tim and knocked that over, and I'm already like planning the next one. And you know, it's just one of these things where you're just like, man, I just want to do these other things instead. And Knitspin Girl says, yeah, Spotlight is definitely not what I think of when I'm shopping for electrical items. Yeah, me too. Me too. So yeah, it does. I'm always just a bit like, huh, what, really? Okay. Like when I spot something in there, but I couldn't actually tell you the last time I went into a Spotlight store. Even though I'm quite often at IKEA, which is in the same complex, I don't very often go to Spotlight. I'm just trying to think. It would have been with some of the girls for when we were having. I definitely remember hitting a Spotlight store when we were having caffeinated crafters at the coffee club, because there's a little like create store in the Hyperdome. So I definitely remember hitting that one then, but I don't know if I mean, there's probably another time since then, but I just don't remember it. Holly says that I knit and crochet to relax, and I want to work on the project that I'm in the mood for, which is why I have a million projects. Yeah, me too. Louis has stretched out so far here that I don't think. Oh, there we go. I'm not going to be able to get a whole doggy in the shot. Let me just try and get the whole doggy. No, we can't get the whole doggy in the shot. Such a lanky lizard. Are you being a lanky lizard, Lulu? Vampire says, I miss when Spotlight was just for arts and crafts and party supplies. They should have left the homewares to their other franchises under the group. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Now, I kind of like, and then saying that, I kind of understand curtaining and curtain rods, right? Because you can buy fabric to make your own curtains. But that's where I don't know anybody who's sewing their own sheets. Do you know what I mean? Or making their own pillowcases for their beds. Someone in this chat can absolutely prove me wrong in a heartbeat, but I don't know anybody who's doing that. So yeah, Leanne, I've purchased bedding and towels from there. And pillows. They have a particular brand of pillow that I love, and so I go in there for my Jasper pillows. I'm a pillow murderer, and I just seem to murder the Jasper pillows a lot slower than the others. So I just don't think of it as a craft store anymore. I think of it as somewhere to go and check out doona covers and sheets and pillows rather than a craft store, and it's just so disappointing because it was such a great little craft store for such a long time. It was my first craft store. Oh no, it wasn't actually. It was a craft store. It was a local yarn store near the train station at Hornsby in Sydney. That was my first one. But they had some funny rules in there, which was you weren't allowed to touch the yarn in the bags, and you had to buy the whole bag. You couldn't buy like a few balls. You had to buy the bag. And I learned to never do that. If I don't get to touch the yarn, I don't buy the yarn. It's that simple. If I'm in a store and they don't let you touch the yarn, then don't buy the yarn. Oh no, I lost my stitch marker. Come back here. It flew away. Actually, I'm supposed to be replaced with this one. These markers aren't doing anything. Oh, look, I flew past this is the only marker that means anything, really. These others are all just like 20 stitches. So when I'm doing the counts for my increases. All right, let me just, it's getting a bit bunchy. Where's the middle? There, it's about there. Tape measure, where did you go? What color are you? I don't know. Oh, blue, right there. I don't know what happened to my white one. It's probably in a project bag somewhere. Okay, we are at 6 inches or thereabouts. It'd be good if I had some way to raise that up. I could probably do that. There we go. It's still curved, but it's a bit better. Oops, inches, because all the pattern measurements are in inches. So just under 6. We're just under 6, 5.5. What do I need? Where's my pattern? Where's my pattern? Well, that's concerning. Did I measure in the right spot? Oh, no, that's more like it. Closer to 6. All right. I don't know if I like that plan of measuring there, but I've still got quite a ways to go before I have to worry. I've just checked the pattern and I've got to get to like 7.25 inches. Loopy says, I agree, texture test must be passed more so if it's going into a wearable item. Absolutely. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We've got, this is the Pride Yoke sweater that I'm working on just in a blue 4-ply cotton right now. The pattern is designed for a DK weight cotton, so mine was going to be a little more holey, a little more sheer, but not too much so, I don't think. I'm not too worried about it. This Pin Girl says, my first yarn store was Spotlight back when most of their yarn was from Australian country spinners. Yeah, and Cleckheaton. And then every now and again, and they still do this now, where like the majority of their yarns would come from Australian country spinners. But then they would get in like a brand. It's like they would choose a brand. And I think the first year I really sort of started buying a lot of yarn was their brand of choice was Cartier. And I was in love with Cartier yarns. And they were like so expensive compared to everything else. And I just waited until they were on sale and then missed out because somebody came in the morning, like an hour before me. I came in, the store opened at 9. I came in at 10, and apparently someone came in before me with a trolley and just bought everything. And I was very sad. I never waited for the sale after that. Vampire said, my local Spotlight is literally across the road from my Monday morning craft group, so it's just easier to get to it and not worry about postage. Yep. Absolutely. And if it's got what you want, that's the thing, right? But for me, it doesn't have what I want. So I've just about always got to pay postage, which is frustrating. But, you know, you learn, like Bendigo Woolen Mills, they have a point where you get free postage. Hobie has a point where you get free postage. Knit Picks has a point where you get free postage. Now, Knit Picks is hilarious, right? Because I used to work really hard to get my free postage, but then I realized that the postage was actually only $8. And I was like spending, you know, $80 instead of the $50 that I wanted to spend because I was trying to get to free postage. And then it clicked that I'm like, you're spending an extra $30 to save like $8. Is that actually what you want to be doing? And it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm such a numpty. So sometimes, keeping an eye on the free postage is good if you are near it and you'd rather just spend like there've been instances, right, where I've picked out what I wanted the free postage was say $100. I picked out what I wanted, and it was like $90, right? So I was going to have to pay $10 postage. And so I just put in the extra, I just buy another $10 worth of stuff and then get the free postage. It's like, well, I was going to spend that money anyway. But when it's like beyond that, you're just like, mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just like, haha, in your face, I got the free postage. And they're like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Thank you for the really giant sale. But yeah, it's just one of these things where working out, and we're all going to be so different, right? Like, and there's no right or wrong here, but working out what is the at what point do you have too many projects on the go? At what point does it start to be more of a distraction than a convenience? So I don't know if I have an actual like number, but I have types. So if I've got too many garments on the go, then that's one thing. Whereas, you know, if I have a top, a pair of socks, a blanket, knitted, crocheted, you know, Tunisian, whatever, so that like whatever project, whatever craft I actually feel like doing, I've got a project that suits that. Like, is it a mindless project, or is it a project that needs my full attention? You know, like all these sorts of things have to come into place. It's not just a case of 20 projects is my maximum. It could be 5 projects. You know what I mean? Nat Power, and the condition of the yarn on this shelf, it often looks like a toddler has gotten into it and unwound them all and ripped the labels off. I still shop there for cricket supplies though. Yep. Oh, there we go. A 120 is the free post for Spotty. For me and what I order, that's not difficult. I don't buy yarn from them though, and the quality is not great. Yeah. So it's disappointing. You know, like Australia is like one of the biggest wool exporters in the world, right? And yet we don't get it. We get the stuff that other people don't want. And when it comes to the acrylics, all the acrylics imported, we don't have anywhere that makes acrylic yarn in Australia. All acrylic yarn is made outside of Australia. And then, you know, sometimes it'll be wound and balled in Australia, but it's not made in Australia. And isn't it interesting, at what point can you classify as made in Australia or made in something? I've been watching some really interesting things about how, I don't know if you guys know this, but the factories in China are getting back at some of the stuff that's happening in the US by giving away the locations of the factory names that make the big high-end products. Like, so, and I think, is it like someone like that, I can't remember which particular company it is, but it's like the, not so much the Hermes bags, but some of the, like, you know, there's really thousands and thousands of dollar handbags that are like made in Italy, where it actually turns out that all that is done in Italy is they actually attach the, whatever the metal logo thing is. That's the only thing. And then they can be classed as made in Italy because that one thing has been done in the country. And so they're actually selling the whole bag made out of like exactly everything. So say the bag normally retails at $15,000. These Chinese factories are actually selling the whole bag without that logo because that's put on somewhere else for like $1,000. And you're just like, oh my gosh, it's kind of hilarious that these things are being seen. But, you know, you've got like companies like Bendigo Wool and Mills that say, you know, it's all Australian made and Australian owned, but it's actually not. Like, they don't scour their wool in Australia. The wool is scoured in China. So the Australian Wool and Mills uses Australian wool, sends it to China for scouring, brings it back, and then spins it and balls it here. The Bendigo Wool and Mills cotton is not spun in Australia. It's spun in, I think it's Turkey right now. It might change. It moves around, but I think right now it's made in Turkey. But it's made with Australian cotton. And you know, so there's like these sort of caveats And it is very interesting how that works for different things. Like just because something says it's made in a particular country doesn't mean it's actually 100% made in that country. Oh, Lone Wanderer, it's great to see you. Since you saw those videos, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Holly says when I worked in retail, I learned that parts of items are made in China, but is assembled or the tag placed on the item in Italy that says Italy, and then they can be made in Italy. Yep, yep. I've been talking about that too. A lot of the big name products that are made and sometimes even designed in China. Yeah, yep. And Gabby Rodriguez, great to see you. That's right. Keep in mind the label may be made in Australia, but the product may not be. Bempy says my local is pretty good with the shelf stock at Spotlight. The girls who keep them stocked are fellow crafters and are very careful about keeping the stock in good condition. Well, that's good to know. My local Spotlight, you can't get any help with the yarn craft stuff. There's no one there who knows anything about yarn. They don't understand the importance of dye lots. They don't know anything about yarn or anything about substitution or anything at all. Usually they are the people who man the party areas, so they know plenty about blowing up balloons in the helium balloon section, but not much else. And that's not their fault. They're just not. They're not being trained. And Spotlight are no longer focusing on hiring crafters. At least not my locals, anyway. Some factories are selling the Gucci handbags for $3.50 or Gucci bags for $3.50. That's hilarious. Holly says, when I was in China about 7 years ago, I bought a Burberry and a Hermes scarves at the factory that made them just without the label. Yeah. Isn't it just insanity that these companies are able to say that the product is made in, another country, and yet it's actually mostly made somewhere else and finished off in that country. It's just like if you, is it fruit juice that if you read it, it's, made from imported fruit, maybe made with some imported concentrate, but then it's mixed with local fruit juice and then bottled here. You're just like, you've really got to read carefully what you're buying and understand the differences. Like the green made in Australia tick, that ticks for sale, right? You buy the rights to have that. Now you've got to jump through some hoops to get it, but you pay for the right to it. That's not just given to companies when they reach a certain level of it made in Australia. They have to pay for that. It is not free. It's actually quite expensive. So it's just very, very interesting how all of it works. It's just like, why not just be transparent about it? Like, you know what? Anyone who knows anything about wool in Australia knows that there's no large scale scouring. So obviously they have to send it somewhere else to do. Why not just be open about it? We try to keep it as less traveled as possible. Unfortunately, we do need to ship it overseas for this particular step, as there's nowhere in Australia that does it to this, to this high quantity. Why not just be open about it? Yeah, often the label is made in China too. That's hilarious. Just attached to it. Yeah, because they need to physically have done some of the work to make it say made in country. I don't know. I get frustrated by the lack of transparency around some of this stuff, right? Like, people are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to support local businesses. They're trying to support local industries to the best that they can, right? Obviously, we can't always do it, but to the best that you can. And then you find out that the company that says that it's all 100% made here is just like, actually, we just ball it here and package it. It's actually made somewhere else because there's nowhere in Australia has the equipment to do it. So we have to get some parts of it done somewhere else. Yeah, the small mills that scour are inundated with local small producers. Absolutely. And they just cannot take the quantities that the larger producers want. Like, so places like Spotlight and what have you, They're asking for tons, like literal tons and tons and tons. Um, so it's just one of these. Why can't Australia clean their own wool? Local farm near me cleans their own. So in Australia, we have a lot of EPA rules, right? So a lot of environmental protection rules around scouring and things like that. And a lot of the largest scouring companies, rather than change up how things were doing, they just went, fine, we won't do it anymore. You'll have to pay it and ship it overseas. So that's what kind of had to happen. That happened, I want to say 80s. Was that 80s and 90s that kind of happened? That all the large scale scourers here went by the wayside, because they didn't want to deal with the waste. Now, there's a company down in Victoria who are bringing in the new ways of doing it, but they are a small business and they can't take the numbers just yet. So hopefully down the track they'll be able to, but it came out of a pile of people not wanting to, who felt that if they just put their foot down and refused to upgrade the equipment, that Australian laws would relax. But they were polluting waterways is basically what was happening. And groundwater. They were polluting waterways and groundwater. And so the government just went, yeah, no, you can't actually do that anymore because you're actually affecting more people than you think. And rather than upgrade their equipment and change their processes, they just shut down. And that particular part of the wool processing in large scale, we've got some small scale scourers, but no large scale. So, yeah. So you've got a local farm doing one local farm is doing their own. We're talking companies that buy in, hundreds of tons of fleece. I don't know how often, I don't know how much wool Bendigo Wool Mills buys in, but we're talking like very large scale fleece. Yeah, the soapy, greasy river wasn't fun. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Loopy Nut says, thank you for helping me learn something new today. Yeah, no worries. And I would double check everything because I'm going from memory and it's old. It's pretty old stuff. So it's definitely worth you researching into a bit more. If you're very curious about these things, have a look at them and have a look at the processes of how things are done. I don't know about Loopy Nuts. Are you in the US? I'm not sure where you are. But I'm not sure about in the US if you guys have any large scale scourers. I would be surprised if you don't. But I was actually shocked to find out Australia didn't, honestly. So, because I'm the same. Like, why not just scour our own? But yeah, the laws changed, so the processes had to change, and the companies didn't want to change with the new processes, so they shut down. Because it was going to come down to money. Like, let's be honest, it was all going to come down to money. Could these processes of these companies, well, I think of processors, not processes, these processors of the fleece, they didn't want to spend the money it was going to cost. So it's going to cost a lot of money. It wasn't just a change of methods. The change of method was going to cost a lot. And rather than spend that money, they just closed down. Yeah, okay, so you're in the US. So I don't know if you've got any large-scale fleece processors, like as in companies that could do, hundreds of tons of fleece in however amount of time. John says, yeah, I think all our wool comes from Turkey. Yeah, I know our cotton comes from Turkey. Like we're using Bendigo Wool Mills, which is the yarn I'm using right now. So it's we get these big 200 gram balls. I don't know what that is in ounces, but that's caught. But the label here is just like 100% cotton. Bendigo Woolen Mills, washing instructions, and see how it says made in Australia. That is not technically untrue. they made this ball in Australia. And they're using Australian cotton. However, I believe it is milled and spun and processed in Turkey. Might not be Turkey anymore. I know it was for a while there. But we have lots of cotton. There's whole areas in Australia, and this is probably the same wherever there's cotton fields, but when the cotton trucks drive around and the cotton flies out and the sides of the road are like covered in cotton, and you can literally jump out of your car and just grab like handfuls of cotton and just walk around and just pick it all up. Now it's all dusty with road dust and stuff, so it needs a good wash, but you can totally get enough cotton for a project just by harvesting from the sides of the roads where the cotton trucks have had the cotton fly out. But yeah, it's fun. Do you know growing your own cotton is actually, cotton grows, or at least the cottons that I've grown, have this beautiful like light greenish hibiscus shaped flower. My biggest issue with growing cotton was keeping the chickens away from it because they wanted to eat it all the time, not the cotton itself, but all the leaves off the plants. Yeah, growing cotton is beautiful. Like the little plants that it grows is actually quite cute. Game Winner says, no cotton here, but plenty of sheep. Nispin Girl says, I've collected cotton like that from the side of the road. Me too. Me too. Why not? It's just sitting there. It's just going to rot. Like, seriously. Free cotton. It's not like you're raiding someone's farm. This is stuff that's blown out of the back of the truck. But yeah, it's a bit frustrating, right? Like when you start digging in and working out where the stuff comes from that you love, like I know I love Chaogu needles. I know Chaogu needles are made in China, right? They make no bones about it. The company is half American, half Chinese, right? But there's other companies where the needles are made is not as clear, right? So you know, it's gonna come down to research to where it's actually made. I know that is it Dyak needles in the US, that they're all American made. I think is it DIAK. They're all I could be wrong, but I think they're all made in the US. We don't have anyone in Australia making needles in Australia, as far as I'm aware. There's occasional company that are like an Australian company that sell needles, but I believe they're all imported. I don't think there's any factories here making them. I'd love to be wrong. If somebody can correct me on that, I'd love to be wrong. Lupinot says there's a lot of cotton over here. I can normally find it pretty cheap in raw form for my wheel. Yeah, like if I went to a farmer and said, hey, can I buy a bag of your cotton? I can't imagine them saying no, right? But I don't actually have any, like the farms aren't that local to me. Like it's a good couple of hours of driving to get there. So that's why, like I've got seeds. I've got seeds to grow my own. I actually should just get in and plant some. After winter, I'll get in and do that. We can have some fun. We can have some gardening for your spinning. John's, lots of sheep here in the US, not a lot of wool though for John. So yeah, so meat sheep rather than wool sheep. Yeah. Whereas we have both. Yeah, we have a lot of both. And New Zealand has a lot of both too. It's just very interesting when you start digging into where things are from. You realize, it's been out of country a couple of times before it's actually got in your hands. There we go. Another round is done. I'm really like, if only I could explain to you how this feels. Like, I cannot wait to wear this. This feels amazing. Like, it just feels so nice. And I've actually never knitted myself a top out of the cotton before. I've crocheted plenty, never knitted one. So lots of things I've not done before. I've sort of like stuck in my lane. Like, I make a lot of blankets, I make stuff for kids, make a lot of toys, make the occasional top. I used to make a lot of like cover tops so I could wear like a singlet and then put this over it, like when I was going out. So I could be a lot cooler when I was at home, and then, you know, going to just school run or something like that, I'd throw one of these cover tops on and just head out. But I don't have so much of those anymore. In 2021, US produced 22 million pounds of wool. We contribute less than 1% to the world's wool supply. I wonder what percentage Australia would be. I don't know. I know that our cotton is considered pretty high grade around the world, but I'm not sure about the wool. John says our country was practically built on cotton. Yeah. Drive safe. Oh, you might listen from the phone. Okay. Yeah, and Australia was practically built on wool. It really was, yeah. John says Australia is one of the top producers in the world for wool. I know that we have good quality wool. Like, a lot of our merino makes it to like Italy for their fine Italian suits, like the fine wool suits and things like that. Yeah. Isn't it interesting that something that we, you know, that for hundreds of years our countries have been either growing or producing or whatever, and we still, you know, we're still doing it. I always find that stuff really interesting. We contribute 25%. Oh, there you go. Good to know. Thank you. I was curious what the percentage was. So our country produces a quarter of the world's wool. Very interesting. That's a lot of wool, man. That's a lot of wool. Like, because what did John say here? That it was 22 million pounds of wool, which was less than 1%. Oof. How many pounds in a? You guys don't do metric tons. Because we measure that sort of stuff in tons. But yeah, it's a load. That's quite a lot of wool. That's a lot of sheep to have running around that need to be shorn. And all the sheep are shorn by hand. There's men that just go around the country in groups, just shearing. There's no mechanical way for it to be done without human help, which I think is interesting. Loopy Knot says, if I ever have a garden again, I want to grow flax for linen. I love that textile the most. I've never grown flax. Because like I always thought, you know, like because everyone had told me, oh, cotton takes so much water to grow cotton, blah 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 blah. And I thought, oh man, I'm never going to be able to grow cotton because I don't have like a pond. But I realized that at commercial scale, growing it out back where there's not much, you know, moisture in the soil, yes, they have to do that. But where I am, where it gets regular rain, it just grows, right? So it's always like, and that's the other thing in Australia, like a lot of these things are produced in areas that you're just like, is this really the best spot for this? So, because we do have a lot of arid, scrubby areas in our country. Oh, there's some great videos about linen from seed. I'll definitely have to look at that because If I'm gonna grow some cotton, I might as well try and grow some linen. It's like, what process does the flax have to go through to be used to spin it? So I definitely need to look at that. Like with cotton, you just pick the cotton and remove the cotton seeds and boom, spin it, done, right? Whereas with flax, does it have to get any kind of, you know, like a does it need to be beaten or shredded or I don't know enough about it. I don't know enough about it. Oh, you have to beat it up a lot? Okay. So I think I'll stick with cotton. The the lazy, you know, fluff seeds compared to linen. But I do love linen. I love wearing linen. Linen and cotton. It's just perfect for this temperatures that we get here. We're leading into winter here, and it is, what are we at now? 22 degrees. We're expecting a high of 23. It's an overcast, rainy day. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheits. Those of you that need it will just need to Google it. It's a good frustration workout. Holly says, I follow Llama Farm in Long Island and Tabitha shears sheep and llamas professionally. I love watching her shearing videos during the season when she travels to different farms on the East Coast. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, not a lot of people have the skills. Mm. Wow. I have plenty of mother-in-law's tongue growing in my yard. I could test that out, beat it up. That's practically a succulent. It's 10 degrees C here, and I have the windows open. Yeah, I've got my windows open too. 10 degrees, I probably wouldn't have the window open. Probably wouldn't. Maybe a crack, because I do like a fresh breeze, but I probably wouldn't have it. Like right now, mine's wide open. I just keep an eye out if the rain comes in. Because the breeze is just beautiful. And I'm currently enjoying being a bit cool. Like, let's be honest. It maybe the exact same temperatures in like a month or two. Maybe I won't have the window open. I don't know. Oh dear. Isn't that funny how you sort of like become acclimatized to different temperatures? When Abby came home from working in the snow, her attitude to temperature was so different. She was just like, "Oh my god, it's so hot. Every it was just always so hot. It's so hot up here. I hate it. It's so hot." Because she'd been living in like snow temperatures for months. Um, oh, it's 23 in the apartment and you're trying to cool it off. Fair enough. Yeah, according to my little internal temperature gauge, which is over here, it says we're at 24 inside. Which is funny because that's the temperature that we have all our aircon set to try and cool things down to when it's hot. So, yeah. Oh dear, let me just. I keep forgetting that these stitch markers mean nothing. I'm like, I'll just get to this next marker and check something, and you're just like, no. I could probably pull all these other markers back out again for a while. It's because if they keep distracting me. Oh, I've lost one. Inadvertently pulled it. But whenever I do the increase round, I have to go through and move all of the markers over a couple. Oh, guys, this week for TV, right? For some reason, Netflix decided to offer me up. I watch, a lot of crime dramas, murder mysteries, things like that. And it offered me up it was an overdubbed and I will say quite well done. I was surprised at how well done, but a dubbed English version of a Swedish crime drama, right? Or murder mystery, it was. And it was so awesome, right? Think more hinterland than Midsummer Murders, so a bit darker, a little, a little bit, a little bit. I don't want to say creepy, but you know how Midsummer Murders, everything's sort of golden and yellow, whereas this is more blues and greys, right? That's how I'm thinking. And oh, Abby's home from work. Louis has got to go and check out what's going on. So yeah, so there's a chaos is about to ensue. But yeah, so I watched is it called the R murder? It's like the R, but it's the name of a town, right? And that one was cool. But it's just started. Like I finished those. They were like little short series, like mini series, sort of thing. And now it's offered me up a British one that I'd never seen before. That had Richard Armitage's in it, which I thought I'd seen everything with Richard Armitage in it, but I have not seen this. So I'm enjoying that. And I'd say it's fairly recent because it's an older Richard Armitage, so not black hair. He's got grey hair in this. So I'm enjoying that as well. They're over on Netflix. I can't think of the name of the series. Let me just have, where's my phone? Let me just have a look. Netflix. Don't start making any noises. Abby's home from work. Okay, now let me just, how do I look at my recents? It's called Missing You is the one that I'm watching right now. And that one's very cool. Have you seen Woman of the Dead 2 seasons? No, I have not. I'll have to have a look at that. Do you know which streaming platform has it? So I can have a squizzy squiz. John says, I've seen so many women on dating apps looking for their Ted Lasso that I had to watch the show. I haven't seen it. I've heard that it was like absolutely award winning, that it is absolutely worth the watch, but I just haven't seen. Like Abby's watching The Crown right now, and I know Tim had already watched all of it, and now Abby's watching it, and I'm just like, it's another one I just haven't seen. Okay, I'll check Woman of the Dead on Netflix. I'll have to look that out too. But yeah, so isn't it interesting? There's just so many shows out there. Is Ted Lasso, was that Apple TV? I thought that was Apple TV in Australia for some reason. And that's part of why I probably haven't seen it, because I don't have Apple TV. I've had it. Like every now and again when I get a new device, I'll get like a couple of months of free Apple TV. Funnily enough, I got 12 months of free Apple TV when I bought an iPad. But I bought a MacBook Pro and I got 3 months. Like, seriously, really? Abby says that she got none with her phone. I didn't get any with my phone. I'm looking forward to watching Murderbot on Apple TV next month. Oh, wow. Okay. When I got Apple TV last time, I got part the way through the Foundation TV series. I didn't get, I'm like at a cliffhanger. I'm like, I've got 3 months of Apple TV coming up that I can use. So I suppose I'll go in and I'll try and watch the end of that. Loopy Nut says, I've been into the creepy shows to sidetrack myself while knitting. I enjoyed the show Evil on Netflix. Really? I haven't seen that one. I'll have to have a look. I try to, like, every now and again I can deal with new shows, but quite often my brain just is like, nah, just rewatch this other thing that you can deal with. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've watched Geostorm. Like, a lot. I was like, all Midsummer Murders. That's true. That's true. NCIS, yep. That's Blue Healers. Although, Abby, I've never watched all the way to the end of Blue Healers. Yeah, I tend to watch till Maggie dies.
Don't spoil it for me.
You know Maggie dies.
Yeah, your viewers don't.
Yes, I do.
It came out
Abby, you can't call spoilers on a show that finished 10 years ago.
10,
Oh yeah, okay, more like 20. All right, fair enough. Fair call. Um Oh, John wants to yeah, he has subscribed to Apple TV for Severance. Yeah. Um um John says, I've read Foundation. I don't want to ruin it by watching it. Yeah, I read it as well. So far, I am enjoying what I'm reading. Yes, it is a little different, but it's actually surprisingly good. It's been pretty well made, at least so far. At least so far. Um, Bianca says it's nothing like the books. I wouldn't say nothing like the books. Lone Wanderer says, I have a prepaid card for subscription samples. That way I won't forget to cancel it and get charged. That's a very clever idea. It's based on my favorite book series, and I'm getting Apple TV just for that show. Which one is that one that you're, what is it? Murderbot. Okay. If you watch it as a completely standalone show, you'll probably enjoy it. Well, see, look, I've learnt to read books and enjoy the shows separately. There's a lot of things that, like Starship Troopers, the movie, right? Nothing like the book. I still enjoy the movie. Like it's very hard to create movies and TV shows that matches up to the imagery that people have created in their own individual brains, right? So it's quite often it's going to be like Dresden Files, right? Not like the books. So much so that it got boycotted by a lot of the book fans, which they were really relying on to keep it being made, which is a shame because I came at it later and I only got like a certain number of episodes. And I'm really disappointed because I actually love it. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Yes, it's different from the books, but that's okay. It means I get to enjoy both things. The Temperance Brennan Bones books, totally different than the TV series. Still love both. I think we can love both. We just have to accept that they are going to be different. And we can still love both. Loopy Nut says I'm still calling no spoilers with my mum on the X-Files. No, I'm sorry. You don't get to do that. Oh gosh. Hey Isabel Crafts, it's great to see you in the chat. I don't see the appeal of Apple TV. Look, I think they make some really cool shows, right? But in saying that, I really only get Apple TV when I score some free months because of some other reason. I agree with this statement. The people that have only ever seen the movie but claim to know everything about it, I take issue with as well. I agree. You may know everything about the movie or everything about the TV series. Doesn't mean you know everything about the books, and vice versa. You may have read all the books, but have you watched the TV series? So do you know everything about it? Probably not. Do you know that quite often there'll be like a book series, a TV series, and then sometimes there'll be comic books. Did you read all the comic books as well? Yes and no. This is the thing. These all, they all move around. And I think that we can like all the different formats of something or just one format of it. Like there've been the occasion where I have like read the book, didn't like the book, decided to watch the show anyway, and then loved the show. And vice versa. I've read the book, then watched the show, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what have they done? Not like I try to look at it from the perspective of they use it as a stepping stone to their own ideas, right? Which is how we quite often think about designers things, like designs. They're a stepping stone to what it is that we want to make, but we want to make it with a different color. And we want to make it with these slightly different sleeves that fit us better. We want to make it with a different length or with cotton instead of wool, So it's a stepping stone. I've been taking issue with the Wheel of Time TV series, and I really struggle with it because I love the books. A lot of whingy teenage boy angst, of course, because it's the nature of those books. But I loved the progression of the characters in those books, and the TV series is just like doing whatever it wants, kind of like what it did with Witcher. But at the same time, I still love the series. I'm still enjoying the series, but how they're creating it, how they're visualizing it, it's different. It's just different, and I have to accept that the producers probably didn't read the books, and they're just going by like we're just going to change whatever the scriptwriter did. I hate it when they turn a good guy in the book into a bad guy in the movie. That annoys me. Because you're just like, dudes, what's going to happen to the rest of the story arc? Who's going to pick up those pieces? And sometimes nobody is the answer, but they focused on something else instead. Yeah. Look, it's weird. It's just different. That John O'Brien, that is a really interesting take. In The Expanse, they killed off a character because the actor got handsy with the female fans at a convention. Meanwhile, he's in all the books. Wow. I've been listening to the audiobooks of The Expanse, but I've only just recently started it. So I'm still in, like the first season or two of the TV show. But sometimes people are just like trash humans, right? Like seriously, getting handsy with fans at a convention. Did he not think that there was going to be some sort of repercussion for that? like I'm not sure if you realize, like if people know this, but you know that most people have this device in their pocket that's got like cameras there and a camera there that could possibly record things that are being said or done, let alone security cameras on the convention floors. Like, really? I actually know nothing about the Stephen King It movies. I've never seen the movie. I tried. I had to back away. That was one of the books I couldn't read. I've read others, but not that one. I'm not the biggest fan of clowns in the first place, and I knew that this would just make it worse, so I've kind of avoided it. Isn't it funny who we cast as people in our own minds? Like John's saying here that in his mind he'd cast a different person into this role. Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting how our brains create the actors and the characters versus who the casting agents choose. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting how our minds work these things. But yeah, I've just like in the last couple of days I've been able to watch some new content. I've actually started watching some slightly different content on YouTube. I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone of lawn care. I know. Okay, I know. And try to watch some other stuff. So I've been watching I think I told you guys this before, but I was watching Matt's 4x4 off-road for a work thing that I had to do a few weeks back. And I kind of got a bit curious about, like, because I watched a particular live event. He had the off-road games, which was a lot of fun. But I was curious about what his channel was the rest of the year round. So I started watching the occasional video, totally hooked. And now, like, I even went in to the point where I was like, he deals with some other businesses locally that have started their own YouTube channels now. And I even tried to watch some of those, but I prefer, I'm like, yeah, don't like that one as much. But yeah, I'm just surprised by what every now and again something different or interesting will just be like, yeah, I'm actually enjoying this. This is a bit different. And it's like these Swedish crime dramas. I really didn't think I usually avoid the darker sort of more gritty crime dramas. I tend to not enjoy them as much. I like the more light-hearted ones, but I think every now and again getting a gritty one reminds us how fun the light-hearted ones are. Holly says, yeah, one of the actors that they've cast in the Murderbot, I just don't see them as the character from the book. Yep. If I had watched The Mandalorian before I watched Game of Thrones, I probably would have imagined Gina Carano. Oh, okay. Sue Singleton, great to see you. Yeah, we're just having we have some random chats. You know what it's like in here. Oh, I tried to watch The Mist. I really did. I think I got through the second episode. Was it the second episode? I'm not sure. I think it was maybe the third. I do try to give shows 3 episodes because especially when they're brand new and they're trying to introduce all the characters before they get too deep into the storylines. But sometimes I don't make it. And what was the other one? That Under the Dome. The Under the Dome series. I tried to get into that, but it just felt like at one stage it just felt like, too gangster, like it was too much like a mob vibe. And I just was just like, do you hear a guinea pig? I don't know. Do you have a guinea pig? I don't have one. There might have been some birds. There were some birds flying past. Oh, Louis gone, so Abby's stolen him, so we'll drop out the Louis cam. Under the Dome was really different from the book. Okay, I've not read the book on that one. What would you say was better, the book or the show? Like in your opinion? I mean, usually it's the book, right? Like for me, it's usually the book is better. But sometimes they surprise you with the show. John says, by the time I was 13, I'd read every book King had written to that point, and I look at my kids who don't read, and I kind of glad they aren't reading King at least. Oh, I know, right? I think I read, did you read The Talisman, like the Peter King, Peter Straub collab book? I read that when I was about 13. That changed my view on books a bit. Yeah. I thought I heard one over your stream, most likely was birds. It was just an uncanny sound like an old pet. Yeah, I don't know. It could be an old pet. It could be. We've got those around too. We've got old Mr. Tibbles floating around. Although he's pretty vocal these days, and it's like very, very clear it's a cat yelling at you. Because it's like meow, meow. It's very definite. Like you need to listen to me, and usually it's pick me up and put me next to my food or let me out the back door. They're his most common demands. Or pick me up and put me next to my food, but wait a second because in 1 minute I'm going to eat one single piece of kibble and then I'm going to want to be let out the back door. And Mr. Tibbles is yard safe, if that makes any sense. He does not injure wildlife. It's a bit like old Jazzy. Jazzy used to sleep on the roof, and the crows used to walk up to her and try, like, I think they thought she was dead, and they would like check and they'd yell at her. And so she'd be walking off the roof and walking around the yard with like this group of crows, like bouncing after her, like yelling at her. So I don't think they were worried that she was going to eat them. Um, so yeah, so our cat had her own mob of crows. I don't think Tibbles has got any bird friends particularly, but I don't think, like, he's just too slow. And he's never been particularly quick. Like, even as a younger cat, never been particularly fast. So, yes. It's like those memes where you see the mouse who becomes friends with the cat in the house, and you've got one job, cat, and it's to get rid of these mice, but instead you're like, here, have this bit of food. Yeah. I have a cat that screams at us when it's bedtime. Snowy used to let us know it was bedtime, and then if we didn't go to bed, she was just like fine, and she'd just walk off and she'd go to bed. We'd come in and she's like fast asleep in bed. She used to sleep up on our bed, so she was just like, whatever, I'm going to bed. You guys suck. Tibbles is too busy judging the birds. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He is too busy, like, giving harsh criticism. Like, you call those feathers, do you? Are they even groomed? Do you even groom your feathers? Like, seriously. Like, have you had a look at yourself in the mirror? Go and find Go and find some water to check your reflection. Yeah, he's a funny one, Mr. Tibbles. He's getting very old too. I think he's 15 now. I think he's 15, which is pretty old in the scheme of cats. I like the videos of the person who didn't want the damn dog and then they become best friends. I love the dads and the boyfriends that don't want the cat and they're like not interested in getting the kitten and hate cats and blah 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 blah. Next thing you know, they're like, sorry, you can't sit there because that's where the kitten's sitting. And then because that's it. And then like if they break up, it's like, well, I'm keeping the cat. Yeah, those ones crack me up. They're hilarious. There's video footage of he didn't want the cat, and then there's a pan photo, like a pan video over, and there he is sleeping with the cat all nestled in, and it's just like it cracks me up. They really do crack me up. Like if I haven't had a cat for a few years, when I get one, I'm all sneezy and stuff for a little bit, and then it stops after maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm allergic to cats or anything, but I do react when I haven't had one for a long time. But then I know I readjust. But we've had Mr. Tibbles for, well, nearly his whole life. And we had Jazzy before him. Jazzy, she passed away a few years back. She had to get she had like a wound on her shoulder that had to get she had to go in and get some stuff cleaned up and removed, and she passed away from the anesthetic. Her surgery was successful, but she didn't wake up from the anesthetic, which can happen. That's why they always warn you. It's very rare, but it does happen. She was already pretty old by then as well. Yeah, if a cat loves you, that's saying something. Absolutely. See, I think Mr. Tibbles loves me, and then all the others are spare humans that will just open doors. Although he does mooch Tim sometimes, which I do find very, very funny. So, yes. Pets, hey? I have to do another measure do and just see where I'm at. I'll get to the marker, which is I've probably just gone past it already. Oh no, we're coming up to it. One thing I will say about this pattern, I've been really struggling keeping to the row counts, right? Like I'll go through, I'll count the number of stitches, and the stitches will be right. Then the next row where I've had to do the increases, I don't get the total at the end, right? And it bugs me. And so I'll go through, and then the next row I'll make it match the totals, right? because like I've gone through and I've counted and recounted and everything looks right. It was like the right number of stitches between the increases, and that bugs me. And then like a few rows back, I was 3 stitches short on the row count. So the next row I increased it by 3. Now I'm 3 stitches over on the row count. And I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing? Oh, I just heard the sound. I think it sounds like Louis is snoring. Louis is not even here. Maybe it's a noise I'm making. I don't know. I don't know. Louis is gone. Louis out in the lounge room with Abby. Look, bed's empty. I don't know what it is. Weird. Very weird. It might be time for me to actually get a bit more length on this cable too. It's getting a bit, when it gets too scrunched up and it starts getting tight and it starts traveling slower because you've got to untangle the stitches out from under each other to get it to move. I think I'm kind of there. In saying that, I'm going to be splitting for sleeves soon, so maybe I should just wait. I love your commitment to mint green. What's it? What's mint green? This is blue. This is a Arctic blue. If that's what you're talking about. My hearing test at the Veterans Admin is next month. Oh gosh, I hope it goes well. Is there a concern or is it just a regular checkup? I would say this is my mug. Yeah, my mug is definitely mint green. It was a gift. I love it. Yeah, I'm not quite. I think I'm not quite sure what Yeti call it, but yes, I love that mug. Like seafoam or something. You are such a dag. Do you want to put your shoes on the Louis cam? Hang on a second. Abby's a dag, everybody. She bought herself some fluffy fake Crocs.
From Aldi.
So they're Croc slippers.
So good though.
Ah,
Everyone like it.
gosh.
Guess how much they were, guys? $8.
Abs, do you remember what colour this one was called?
Um,
It was just teal?
it's just a cool color. It's on the website.
Oh, okay. All right. It's a core colour. It's not a limited edition colour. Um, oh, yeah, she's they're a bit of fun. They're a bit of fun, that's for certain. I think I'm safe to go up a cable size. I think, maybe not like huge change, but a bit of a change. Um, Now I made the stupid mistake of not ordering. I ordered some of these, but they weren't the swivels. I think that one should be all right. Yeah, I made the mistake, and some of these are not swivel cables, which is so dumb. That one's not. And the only way to be able to tell is not by looking at them. You've actually got to try and swivel them, which is so stupid. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to stick on like an end on the non-swivels, just so I can tell at a glance. So this one here needs an end. Do I have an end for you? I believe I do. There we go. Because I don't like the non-swivels. There we go. That one's a swivel. It just needs a rewind because it's all janky. Alrighty, back in the bag. Lot. Okie dokies. I want a small tip. What am I working on a 4? So that's a bit smaller. I want this one. Oh, okay. These chagos. So I need tips and everything. Oh dear. So much for. Let's just quickly do this. I think my tips are out in the lounge room. So that's a job for another day. I'll change this over. I have a pair of those hanging out on the washing. Oh, for hanging out the washing. Yeah. Oh, I want to measure. I need to measure. All right, let's have a look here. I don't even know where the halfway mark is anymore. I should have put a marker in. I'll be able to tell again later when I spread it out a bit more. I'd rather just have different. Me too. I accidentally bought the wrong ones, and I bought them online, and it was just not worth the effort of sending them back. 6.5, so another couple of rows. Yeah, I agree. I would rather buy a different color that were non-swivels. Most of my other non-swivel knit pros are purple because I got them before the swivels were available. Now I want swivels all the time. The Knit Pro swivel cables are really nice. The Chowgri swivs are awful. I don't like them. It's too much of a gap and a step up onto the thing, and my yarn kept getting caught. It ticked me off. I do love Chowgri red cables, which is what I'm working in here, but the Chowgri swiv cables are not great unless they've fixed them up since they first released them, but I did not enjoy them. So yeah. Now I'm like, do I really have 4mm needles? I'll have to double check. I think I do. Is it written on here? Do I have a thingy? There was one in here. A thingy. Narrow that right down, didn't I? 4mm. 3.75. No, definitely 4mm. Good, good, good. At least I used the right one, you know? Yeah, so this is I think I've got this on a 16-inch setup. So it's like 8 inches of cable and 8 inches of tips. So I think I could easily push it out to like a 24 or 30-inch. 24, probably a better option. But yeah. We all have our own preferred methods and preferred tools, and been laying in bed since 5:30, not tired, but my whole body hit and I just feel blah. I understand that feeling. Sometimes you just need to be flat. You don't want to sleep, but you need to be flat. I get like that, especially when my blood pressure's playing up, when it's just that little bit too low. Or when I'm sore. Sometimes it's just when I'm sore. But today was a headache day. I hope you guys have a better day than I did. Well, I hope that tomorrow is not a headache day for you, and that you have a better day tomorrow than you did today. See you later, Loopy Knots. Have an awesome one. I think I'm going to have leftover Chinese for lunch. I think that's what I'm going to do. Unless, you know, my family raid it while I'm in here still, which could happen. Could totally still happen. We had Chinese for dinner last night. So I've got sweet and sour pork and a chicken and vegetable stir fry and some fried rice. So that's what I think I'm going to have for lunch. I think Abby's ducked straight back out. She got home, got changed after work and headed back out again. She had a 6:30 start this morning, or 6:45 or whatever it was. Yeah, there's something about leftover Chinese, right? It just tastes so good. Oh, it's still in New Zealand time. Oh gosh. Yeah, it can kick you if you've been overseas. Even New Zealand, like it's only a couple of hours. But when I first went to New Zealand, I didn't think I was going to I didn't think the jet lag was going to hit me. Like I just didn't allow for it at all because I just thought it's only a couple of hours. Geez. No, it got me, which just felt so stupid because it was just a couple of hours. Lone Wanderers makes her own. I quite often make a lot of my own stir fries, but there's just nothing quite like picking up the local Chinese food place. You know, we actually really wanted it the other week, and they were closed, so we couldn't have them. And then last night we were going to get noodles, and then noodles couldn't. We couldn't get noodles, so he was able to pick up Chinese instead. You could murder some boneless ribs or some general. I don't know what General So's is, and I don't know what boneless ribs are either. Sorry. I mean, I've got an idea of what boneless ribs are, but I don't think it's something we can get. Unless it might be called something else here. Because I know you guys have. It's an orange chicken, but it's actually sweet and sour chicken. Is that how it works? I think that's how it works. It's not actually orange anything. It's just called orange chicken because it's orange. Is that right? I could be wrong. I could be mixing something up. Man, this top is really coming together. And one thing I'll say is I went to work on another top that I was going to start. And it's got like a V-neck front. General Tso's chicken is fried chicken pieces in a spicy, sticky sauce, usually with broccoli. I would eat that. That sounds good. I would try that. Definitely. And we have orange chicken that's citrus flavored. Sweet and sour chicken is different. Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's good. That makes more sense. Maybe it's somewhere else that I'm thinking of that they call their orange chicken something else. Because we have lemon chicken, and we have lemon and honey chicken. Or you can have it, with whatever you want. You can have lemon pork or lemon and honey pork or prawns or whatever. I think the best I've ever had was at an actual proper Chinese restaurant, not a local takeaway, but like went into the city for a birthday, and I had plum chicken, and it was so good. And I was just like, it was just something I'd never had before, and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I am missing out. Boneless ribs are pork strips, usually a weird red color. Oh, like the pork they use for that they slice up. That's got the red stuff that they put in the special fried rice. I've had the bits of that, the barbecue pork. Tim gets all the prawns. I get just about all the pork out of the special fried rice. Bianca says I had coffee pork in Singapore a few times. So good. Oh wow, that sounds interesting. See now I'm hungry. Now I'm like there better be some Chinese food left in my fridge when I'm done here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. It is. It's the same stuff. Yes, that stuff is delicious. I love that, and I've had that. You're right. I just didn't know that it was just makes sense that it's just ribless pork. It does make sense now, but I've always just called it like barbecue pork. Whether or not that's even correct here, I couldn't tell you. Can you hear that? That is the rain. That is the rain thundering down. Let me just check out my window here. It's going straight down. It's not coming sideways. And duck sauce goes on everything. I don't know what duck sauce is. I'll have to have a look. I'm not a fan of duck. I don't really eat duck, but it's been a long time since I've tried it as well. So, wow, that rain is thundering down. Can you hear it? Maybe not. I might have it. I might have my noise gating set too high for it. A sweet and sour condiment typically made with fruits like plums, apricots, peaches, along with vinegar sauce and sometimes soy sauce. Oh, that does sound amazing. Okay, yeah, all right, I'd try that, definitely. Oh, you can hear it when I talk? That's cool. It's starting to ease back again now. But it got real loud for a second, and it smells amazing. Am I the only one who, like, let me know in the chat, does anyone else love the smell of rain? I love the smell of rain. It's calming right down now. It's just a little thunderous shower. Love the smell of rain? Yeah. And love hearing it on the roof? Me too. I mean, I've lived in a lot of houses, and while when it gets a bit thunderous, it's too loud on like a tin roof. I love the sound of rain on a tin roof, but we've got yeah, I do. I mean petrichor. But we've got tile roof here. I still love the sound of it on the tiles too. But not the same as a tin roof. Oh, it's coming back. There it is. Pineapple pieces are always in Leanne's sweet and sour. I don't always need pineapple pieces in the sweet and sour. I want to taste the sweet and the sour though. And I want the sweet and sour to be sweet and sour, not just sweet. Which I think some places don't quite get the balance right, you know. They focus on one rather than all of it. Oh. The breeze has changed directions. I'm getting a beautiful icy cold wind, but it also means that the rain's coming in. Hang on. Oh my gosh, everything got just a little bit. Yeah, the wind changed direction next thing you know, the curtains are blowing out, which is directly behind this table. And all of the bags of yarn that are on this table just got like that little like mist of water across them. Which is a shame. Because the breeze was amazing. Gosh. This is just feels so nice. Oh dear. So let me know in the chat. Is anybody else going to join me and make one of Claire's skirts, or am I making it by myself? I'm okay making it by myself. I'm just curious. if anyone wants to join in the adventure. If it's worth me just making it and putting it on Ravelry, or should I add it into, the Discord or something? I don't know. I plan on making it though. Probably with this. Maybe. Maybe I'll find something else that feels nicer. I don't know. Mind you, I'm going to be wearing leggings under it, so it doesn't have to feel like, amazing next to my skin. Hang on a second. You better not be getting my Chinese out of the fridge. This bag's rustling. I'm not making a skirt. I'm starting Molly's fingering weight Tunisian crochet cashmerino scarf. Oh, very nice. Bianca says, I'd be interested, but I need to know how much yarn it would take. Well, once I find out from Claire, like what hers weighs and what size she is, that'll be able to narrow it down for you. Let me just see if she actually replied to my messages while we were live. Let me just have a look here. Nope. Not yet. Anyway, on that note, everybody, I need to go and defend the Chinese food in the fridge because it's mine. Tibbles is now yelling at Tim in the kitchen. All right. I hope that sorry, I'm hearing Tibbles just yell at Tim. It's hilarious. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Don't let other people's ideas of what's acceptable in your stash or in your project whips rule your passion for your craft. That's what I'll say there is don't let it ruin your passion for your craft. Like that judgment of other people can just sit over there. They can just and close the door. You enjoy your craft. You make it. I'm going to go off and retrieve some of this lunch. And then change over onto a bigger cable because it's getting harder to measure where I'm up to because trying to find where the halfway mark is. Anyway, I will catch you all here next week. Hope you have an awesome one. And have fun. Bye now.